Hi, I'm Linda, and this is my FlossTube episode number 2. I'm very happy to be back, and I really want to express my gratitude for all of the fabulous comments and response I got to my first episode. I did not expect it to be as well received as it was, and not that I didn't think it was okay, but I just, I thought things would build a little bit more gradually. I did not expect there to be as many views as there have been. And my sisters were teasing me about the fact that I had done that video without any makeup on. I hadn't done my lips and lashes. And I don't normally wear much makeup. I don't have much makeup on right now. But yeah, they gave me a hard time about it. So I'm glad I didn't scare anybody away. And yeah, it's been great and so kind. So you really made an old lady feel good. And it's been so fun to read the comments. I really appreciate you taking time to comment. That is the part that I get out of it, is to hear from you. And so they've been great. And to see where people are from, we're east and west in the States, north and south in the States, and we've had people from Ireland and Scotland and Scandinavia and Australia. I mean, it's amazing what this internet stuff does. There's some bad parts to it, I know, but yeah, it's been, for FlossTube, the comments that I've gotten, I can't say enough about it. I especially want to thank Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot. Her FlossTube channel, I have watched, every time she puts one out, I've watched it for over 2 years. And she's a lovely lady. She is kind and so excited about the things that she stitches. She stitches amazing things. She stitches things I would never attempt, never in a million years. And when she gave me a shout out on my first episode, I was just so thrilled and so humbled, and especially she's going through a little bit of a hard time right now. Her husband's got a couple of health issues going on. And so, Sarah, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you guys. It's, life, it can be really hard, but hang in there. We're all thinking and praying about you and Stan, so I hope all is well. I hope that things are much more resolved than they were last week when I saw your episode, or when you posted on Instagram about what you guys were going through. So I'm keeping good thoughts in my heart for you both and for your family. So having said that, one thing, I was going to start showing you some of my fully finished objects going from oldest to most recent, but one of my fully finished objects, the first fully finished object that I had in 2025, was something that I had undertaken because I saw a copy of it hanging behind Sarah during her FlossTube sessions for a long time. She's changed out what she has behind her now, but I saw the floral motif sampler behind her, and I was intimidated because it wasn't normally the kind of thing that I thought that I liked. but I decided to try it, decided to challenge myself, and I loved every second of it, and it has opened up a whole different kind of projects for me for the future, because yeah, I loved it. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this all in. Oh, and I'm showing the light on here, but this is my floral motif sampler. So I said I finished it right after the first of the year, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. The frame, I got it done at the Hobby Lobby nearest me, and I must say the frame itself I love. It's gorgeous, but I was not that happy with their framing job. I don't know if you can see that top border. There's a place where it's not very straight, and the stitches are all on the right lines. They're, you know, it's not like I made a mistake and jumped up a line or two. I was very, yeah. But it is what it is, and, you know, I'm gonna live with it, and I am so in love with this piece that I just can hardly stand it. So that is hanging in the hallway, the entrance to our bedroom. And every time I walk by it, not only do I go, oh, look what I did, and remember how much fun it was, and I'm looking for other things like that now. But, you know, Sarah, thanks. Probably wouldn't have started it if it hadn't been hanging behind you for so many of your episodes. Now, seeing how that barely fit in the screen here, I do have an old fully finished object, and it's very wide. And so what I'm going to do is well, first I'm going to show it a picture of it on my phone. This hangs in my craft room, and you won't be able to see the details of this, but it's a Diane Graebner. You know, she did all these, I call them pseudo Amish, because where I come from, the Amish didn't wear bright colors like these people depicted here. But yeah, so I don't know if there are Amish groups in the US that do wear bright colors like that. Normally, where I come from in eastern Iowa, excuse me, which is only about maybe 20 miles from Amana and the Amana colonies, it's not the Amish that wear bright colors. They're pretty much black, and yeah, they don't. Their colors are in their quilts. Their quilts are very, very colorful, fabulous, but not in their clothing. But not far from where the Amish are the Mennonites, and the Mennonites will you'll see them in colors, and so that's one way to tell the difference between them. So yeah, but I still, when I started stitching this, and I'm gonna hold it up, I know I'm not gonna be able to show all of it, and I don't have, there's a wall behind me here, I don't have space. Oh dear, it's very dusty. Hold on a second. I thought I had dusted everything off. Like I said, it's wide. It's probably, well, at least a yard wide. I can get it turned so that this is a challenge. The light's not doing us any favors, is it? But the real reason why I want to hold it up is because when I took this down off the wall the other day and looked at it closely, I was like, who is this lady who did all of these teeny tiny stitches? And I do apologize for the lights. I found, in addition to the far off photo that I had from in my craft room, I found some images of it online, and I'm going to insert those. I'll either insert them here in the video or I'll put them at the beginning or end. I'm not sure, so if you've already seen it at the beginning, that's what I did. And that was, I finished that in, sorry, 1998. So I think I had said in my first video that I stitched in the 80s and I stopped for a while and didn't pick up again until recently, but apparently I did, you know, I know that I did stitch periodically throughout that time period, and I stitched, I took a commuter train from the South Shore of Boston up to Cambridge where I worked every day for, I didn't always ride the commuter, sometimes I just did the red line, but I took a train to work most of the time that I worked in the Boston area. And so when it was the commuter train, there was, on some of the cars, in the middle of the cars, there were two facing seats with a table on both sides of the car. And so if I was lucky enough, well, in the mornings, I was usually lucky enough to get in and get one of those spots because I was pretty early in the route that they, the route, however you pronounce that, of the train going into town. And so I usually, if I positioned myself in just the right place on the platform, I could make sure that because those cars were usually in the middle of the train, I could make sure that I got into one of those cars and zoomed as fast as this body zooms to the center so that I could try to grab a seat at one of those tables so that I could stitch. I always needed something to, you know, put all my stuff up on. Stitching in just one of the regular seats on the train doesn't really work very well. At least it didn't for me. So that piece is called Learnin' to Quilt. And again, it's by Diane Graebner, Graebner. I think her name is pronounced Graebner. And as I mentioned, I finished that in 1998. I have no idea what the fabric is. I mean, it's obviously an Aida. It looks like it's a very small. I mean, it looked to me like it's a smaller count than 20. I don't know. But no, yeah, I couldn't tell you. I'm sure the threads are DMC. I didn't know anything about other threads at that time. So that's as much information as I have about that. And I had to, I had to do a search to try to find it because I was pretty sure it was Diane Graebner, but I wasn't positive. And I did not remember the name of the piece, of the design. And it was way back when I didn't realize that people would be interested in knowing specifics, like, you know, what fabric it is or anything like that. I do know because, like I said, I searched for it online. I do know that it is a stitch count of 280 by 320. So, oh, no, so sorry, that's my other one. Learning to Quilt is 462 wide by 125 high. I was thinking it's wider than that. So 462 by 125. And if any of you are interested in trying to find it, that it said online that it's a very difficult to find pattern now. And in her designs, it's listed as DGX-004, Learning to Quilt. Now, another piece that I have that is also quite large, so large that it's hard for me to handle on my own. It's very heavy. So I've left it on the wall, and I've got pictures of it. And I have a picture here on my phone. And then this is a New England sampler. And I am going to also insert pictures of it so that you can see it more closely. But it lists, instead of a alphabet at the top, it lists all of the New England states. And then there are motifs from kind of colonial period, mostly. And it's got a pretty cool border as well. And I have images of close-ups of the stitches that I'm going to insert here so that you can see those as well. It just wasn't something that is conducive to me being able to handle for you. But I can tell you that the size of it, I did it on a much larger thread count because it is, oh, that's the one that is 280 wide by 320 high. And then I've got a pretty wide mat on that in the frame. And this is, it was framed at a framing store, not a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby, but an actual framing store. And I finished it in 1988, but where Learning to Quilt was 89, I think I said 90, 98, I don't remember. Anyway, this one is, I finished in 1988, but no, I started it in 1988, so sorry, and finished it in 98. I worked on it on and off, mostly off, for 10 years. So it hung around, gathering dust, and yeah. I even at one point asked one of my nieces if she wanted to stitch on it for me because she was kind of getting into it. She was, I don't know, early teen, and she maybe did a few stitches, but it just wasn't her thing. So I got it back from her and ended up finishing it, and I love it. It hangs on the wall as you come in my front door. There's a nice wall there, and it hangs there. And that's the New England Sampler, and it was published by a company called Ginger and Spice. And I didn't remember that. I had to try to find this online. But as soon as I saw Ginger and Spice, I thought, oh yeah, I remember. I mean, when you work on something on and off for 10 years, something's got to stick, right? And it's their design number 0803. But again, everything I saw online about this particular design says it's a chart that's extremely difficult to find now. Another piece that I finished, and this was in 2024, is right here. This is Cottontail by Liz Mathews, and I love rabbits. I think I might have mentioned that last time. And this rabbit, oh, he's just fabulous. I decided it's a he. And I finished that on I finished it on Easter Sunday, 2024. So it has been on a shelf in my house on display ever since. Eventually, it might get put away and only come out at Easter, but for the time being, he's pretty consistently out. Sometimes I have him on different shelves than these ones right behind me here, but he's always around somewhere. And then another piece that I recently finished, it's not a fully finished. I might have mentioned this last time, and I don't even remember though if I showed it, but that's The Robins Are Here by Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread, and love them. And when I got it stitched, I did it on a 20 count because I looked at the stitch count of the sample of the picture, and I did it on 20 because I thought that it was appropriate, but look how tiny it is. I mean, there's my hand, it's really small. It's cute, but it's small. And I haven't fully finished it yet because there are several other of her spring related designs that I want to do, and I'm probably going to stitch it on the same fabric. So then they'll be finished as pillows, and I'll put them in the dough bowl by the front door. But yeah, they're so cute. So that's a finish, and one day will be fully finished. The next thing I have, I was really hoping to get him finished. I didn't get him fully finished, but he's almost there, and that's Chilli. It's an animal cracker by Stacy Nash, and he's going to be a stand-up. I just haven't stuffed him yet. I got him all sewn. So here's Chilli, and as I stuff him, I need to make sure that I work out these bumps up here. But I've, got my handy dandy pusher outer thingy majiggy, and as I fluff up the fiber fill and then stuff it up in there, I plan to stuff him pretty solidly. And I have some sawdust, but to tell you the truth, I don't know if I'm going to use it. It's not as fine as I thought it was going to be, and so I'm not sure. Yeah, not sure if I'm going to use it, but he'll sit, flat, and I mean, there he is balanced on my hand, so he'll be good. And I used a regular cotton on the back, quilted cotton on the back, that I thought kind of replicated the design in his hat, the little designs, and a similar color. Isn't that clever? So he'll get finished very soon. I've got the fiber fill. I just didn't have time. Things have been a little busy, but he'll get done very soon. Then I'm going to do another animal cracker. I'm not sure which one yet. Well, one thing I want to do, which is not an animal cracker, but I think that this is going to get done before, and I'm sorry if I keep looking off that way, because the red dot that shows me that it's recording is over here, but the camera's right there, and I sometimes forget where I'm supposed to look. So my apologies if it looks like I'm being evasive. This is not an animal cracker. This came out this year at market. This is Stacy Nash's Velvet Pink Pear needle book. And I love rabbits, but I also really love hedgehogs. Really love them. There's most of the time. Sometimes real pictures of them, they look a little bit too rodent-y. I'm not a rodent person, but yeah. So this will probably be the next Stacy Nash that I attempt. I believe I have the fabric I'm going to stitch it on, and I've got a piece of velvet that I want to put it with the fabric. I haven't done that yet, just to make sure that that they get along well. Yeah, I love him. He's so cute. So that's Velvet Pink Pear and Needle Book by Stacy Nash. Coming up on my agenda soon. Coming to a stitching place near you soon. Or near me anyway. I thought I was gonna do Maggie May next because I saw somebody, I think it was on Instagram, that recently completed her, and they did her in red, white, and blue, and she's adorable. And I'm sorry, I forgot who it was who did that. But I think I'm gonna hold off on that. And in Stacy Nash's most recent releases at Market, she did what she calls the British series. And I think it's kind of funny that this is supposed to be a badger, because I thought it was a dog at first. But this is Clovis. I'm sure y'all have seen Clovis. Isn't she lovely? And I kind of want to do Clovis because the dress and apron, I don't have a lot of strong memories of my paternal grandmother, but for some reason, I know she always wore an apron. And so it kind of makes me think of my grandma Jessie. And besides, look at that face. Of course, I should have known it wasn't a dog by the ears, but one of my dog's ears are very big and floppy and sometimes get turned inside out, and you see pink inside like Clovis has. So Clovis might be the next animal cracker in the lineup. I have 7 or 8 animal cracker charts. Well, a couple that Maggie May and Button. I don't have the actual charts. I bought them on PDF from Stacy Nash at the Jingle Ball, I think. I think that's when I bought them. And so I don't have the actual chart. It's electronic, and but I'm sure y'all know what they look like. And if you're not familiar, you can Google Maggie May by Stacy Nash or Button by Stacy Nash. But I think Clovis is maybe going to be next. I don't think I would do Clovis in red, white, and blue, though. I like her in the very, more old-fashioned attire. And speaking of attire, where'd that come from? Oh, my dog Max just went running out the dog door. In case you heard that, there's a big bird out there that he decided he needs to go threaten. Another of the animal crackers I have that I love him because of his overalls, coveralls, whatever. I don't know what the British term, no, jumpers in England are sweaters, right? I don't know what the British name for this attire is, but isn't he a fabulous guy? Look at him. Looks a little sad. His face looks a little sad to me, but love him. Reynard. Reynard's a handsome dude, I think, and I really like his outfit. A man of the earth. No fancy duds for Reynard. Although his little bag down here is pretty cool. But that will be not too long in the future, and I've started getting the threads together for it as well. So those two are probably the next two animal crackers. Then I wanted to show the next thing. I actually made notes this time. Last time I kind of flew off the cuff, and I hope I made sense, but I thought I should try to be a little bit more organized. I used to be an extremely well-organized person. I also used to be able to keep houseplants alive, but I don't know if you'll see this guy down here. It's sad. It's sad. I should do something about him. But people who knew me, 20 years ago would say, "Oh yeah, she's very organized. Always got things on on the ball." Well, time has taken its toll, and I'm not as organized as I used to be. Okay, so those are fully finished objects and finishes. And I do have a couple of whips. Most of these you've already seen, but they are whips. And one of them is the from the Stars and Stripes set that was released last year at Market, and it was a collaboration between Plum Street and Shakespeare's Peddler, and I believe I showed it to you last time that I had the ampersand part done. I sound like I have a frog in my throat today. Sorry. Put those back on here. I think I had showed you that I had the ampersand done. And I've been working on stars. And I had stars partly done last time. So I've got that all done now. And I've got the little fence in and the flagpole. I don't have the greenery around the flagpole done yet. And this will have to be moved up so I can work on the grass and everything. But I've started on the building. It is kind of an eagle up here, a little one down here. They both need their wing feathers stitched in, and they both need their beaks. My little flag is navy blue instead of the color that's called for, because when I started this and stitched the ampersand, I did it in the dark navy blue, and I wanted there to be some similarity in color. So, yeah. Now, here's something I discovered while I was working on this. This is a 20 count. This is 20 count parchment by Fiber on a Whim. And when I was stitching the ampersand, I was stitching it, and I just wasn't crazy about the way the stitches were looking. And I couldn't figure out why. And as I was working on this part of the design of the project, and I was stitching on the 20 count one thread over one, I realized that the reason I didn't like the ampersand is because I had stitched it with 2 threads and it looks too big and chunky to me. On 20 count, I like a single thread. I don't care that it may look a little sparse in some areas. My light from the back is showing through there. I mean, you know, you can kind of see the fabric through some of the stitches, but that's okay with me. I like that. And if I had tried to do 2 threads on 20 count, not good. Oh, there's a hair hanging off of it. I lose hair all the time. Why is it that the older we get, we get hair in some places and lose it in others, and there's no controlling what goes where. Sometimes in the morning when I take a shower and go out and get to the point where I have to comb my hair, because I lose so much hair so easily, I go outside with the boys and sit outside and comb it outside and let my DNA fly off into the atmosphere, because I just can't deal with it all over the house. When the weather is cooler, then that's a different matter. But while it's nice, like the weather we've been having, well, except for yesterday, Memorial Day, it poured here. Thundered almost all day long. Poor Max. Max is a rescue and he has anxiety, and he wasn't too happy yesterday. And it's gorgeous out there today. And what are they doing? They're both laying in here. Max came back in. I told you he went out the dog door a few minutes ago. He's back in. He's in the recliner. Cooper's over on the floor. They're snoozing. At least they're quiet, not disrupting us. Anyway, so that's the stars of Stars and Stripes. And I intend to have these be my focus project until they're done. So what that means is for the rest of May, I'm not doing my whip goes I was supposed to be doing. That's all right. They're my whip goes. And I'm going to be focusing on these. And I'll try to find, I don't have the, I've looked all over for the cover sheets for the patterns, because I did buy the charts, the actual paper charts, and then scan them to put them into GoodNotes so I could use them on my iPad. But now I don't know what I did with the chart. It's not in the folders with all my other charts. It's not by the copier where stuff is waiting to be scanned. I don't know where I put it. Again, not as organized as I used to be. Anyway, okay. Oh, and those are the threads, of course, for, and see, I have this dark blue in here, and I don't think, I think it called for maybe this, I'm not sure. And this is a mix of Weeks, Dye Works, and DMC. And that's stars. And I don't have the stats on the stitches in that particular design. Then, and that's all I've been working on since our last get together. The WIPCO numbers for June have been called, and for me, there's good news and bad news. One of the numbers that was called was a Christmas project, and I just don't really feel like working on Christmas right now. I'm really into patriotic. So I'm going to, as a friend of mine used to say, I'm going to Scarlett O'Hara that, because Scarlett would always say, oh, I'll think about that tomorrow. And so, yeah, that's going to be a Scarlett O'Hara for now. The other number that was called is the Spring Crochet a Go-Go sampler that I showed you last time, or what I lovingly call the pink one. And that's the design. And this is what I have done. And I am going to pick this up during the month of June and put some more stitches in on it, because it's really fun to work on. It's so bright and cheery and pretty. So I am going to pick it up, even though it's not patriotic. It does have rabbits in it, so that's a good thing. And the floss for it, I am using all the DMC. By the way, I like these cheapo floss rings. I was doing acrylic at first because they look so clean, but they're too thick. They take up too much room on a ring. So I get these from Amazon, or in my family we call it the Gettin' Place. And I don't like ordering stuff from Amazon, to tell you the truth, because, you know, he's quite rich enough, but what are you going to do? It's the only place that you can get so many things. I used to own a Volkswagen Beetle. His name was Ringo because, you know, he's a Beetle. And I needed to replace a headlight for it. And I went to my local repair shop and I said, can you guys replace this headlight? And the guy told me, he said, just order it on Amazon. A headlight for a car? But that's where I ordered it. They had it. I mean, yeah. They're controlling the world. They really are. Okay. So that's the Summer Sampler by Crocetta Agogo. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I am going to work on that in June. Then I also have pulled out a couple of my other patriotic pieces that I want to work on. I know I'm pretty sure I showed at least one of them last time, and that's Liberty by Brenda Gervais. Liberty. And as I was pulling that out, because as I said, I want to get some stitches in on this this summer. I think I told you last time I was going to do it on Oat from Bestitch Me. But I'm debating putting it on Vintage by Bestitch Me, which is a little bit more of a pinkish. It doesn't look pink from, looks a little mauvey there, which it doesn't really in person, I don't think. Well, maybe it does. There's a difference in the colors. I have a lot of stuff that I've done or am currently working on that's kind of a beigey color. And while the photograph on the chart kind of looks like that, I was thinking maybe I want something a little bit more like this, because it would look a little different hanging someday when I get it finished, hanging up around the house. So Oat, Vintage. If y'all want to vote and give your opinions, I don't think I'll get it started immediately. So if you think one would look better than the other, let me know. Yeah, because right now I'm still debating. These are the threads for it, and I think they would look okay on either, you know, because both are light, and I think they would show up on whichever fabric. I am building a pile here so I can put everything away neatly. The other piece, I think I also showed you last time, and I do have some work in on it already, and so it'll probably be a higher priority than Liberty, even though Liberty is a newer design, and sometimes I want to work on the newer ones first. Is anybody else like that? Are we all like that? Is it just me? I don't know. But the one that I've got stitches in on already is Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. And I'm very certain I showed you this because I remember saying something about I was first familiar with Teresa Kogut from her fabric lines. And I keep things the way they're supposed to be here. I had to bring over a little TV tray here over on the side to pile up stuff on because I have too much stuff to show, in my little table that I stitch at was already overflowing. So this is what I have done on Land That I Love so far. And I've got I'm sure I showed this because I've got the spine of the border all done all the way around. So that will come out. And I want to have this finished by Labor Day. And a lot of people do patriotic stitching. They'll start something on Memorial Day with the goal of finishing it by Labor Day. So, did I say that correct? Memorial Day to Labor Day. It's not that I'm doing that so much, but I have other things that I want to work on as we get closer to fall. Kids, I have lots of plans. Don't we all? Okay, then another thing that I want to work on is, and I don't have any of the threads for this yet, but the Summer Swan with her little flag by Brenda Gervais with needle and thread, with dye, needle and thread, sorry. Love it. I think I have Spring Swan, but I think that's the only other swan that I had. When they first came out, I wasn't that crazy about them, so I didn't jump on the bandwagon. But love this one. And if you're going to have one, you might as well do all of them. And I think it's the fall one that has the cattails. I love cattails. My mom loved cattails. I remember when we would be driving along a road somewhere in Iowa, and she'd ask my dad to pull over so she could go down in the ditch and cut some cattails to take home. And then you'd spray them with hairspray so that they didn't dry out and pop open. And she'd do fall. She was very, very good at arranging flowers. It's not a skill that I inherited. And she would always have some kind of big display with cattails and that feathery grass stuff. I don't know what it's called. But anyway, she was very good at that. And I want to do the autumn one because of the cattails in the design. I also, I didn't pick this up until just recently. I think it was last year. I don't know if it came out at market or later, but Faded Flag by October House. There's just something so funky about it. So that's another thing that I want to have a go at. I don't know what the thread. Yeah, I've heard it's not a variegated red. It's some different reds that you do some stitches and then change your thread. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to do it that way or if I'll use a variegated. I haven't decided. Haven't gotten that far. Might take the easy way out. I don't know. Okay, next. Oh, I need to put the Liberty chart back. I'll be wondering what I did with that. That needs to go back with all the accoutrement. Okay, so I have a new start. I might have talked about this last time, and I regret I can't show a picture because I got it as a PDF so I could put it into Good Notes. Sometimes my brain just, I don't know if you just heard a motorcycle go by. I live in a very residential area, but the street that I live on, people seem to think that it's part of the Indy 500 Speedway. And the Texas Motor Speedway, which is a big thing around here, is not far from here. And I don't know if they think they're trying out for the next race there, but people go up and down this street like maniacs. And someone someday is going to be very sad. And I hope it's not me, because I don't move fast. And if I'm crossing the street with my dogs, anyway, I have been known to yell at people who drive too fast. One time, I was on a medication. That's my excuse. I was on a medication. I went through infertility treatments. And before we actually got to IVF, this quack doctor I was seeing had me taking Clomid. And I don't know if any of you have experienced Clomid. I'm really sorry if you have. When I was on it, I was a raving lunatic. I would hear things come out of my mouth, and I think, who is that woman? Because she sounds like a you know what. And my poor husband, we weren't married all that long. We hadn't been married all that long. And he didn't know what the heck was going on. And I didn't know that Clomid did that to a person. I soon found out, but in the meantime, found out that he should never have put me on it because I had some little fibroids that needed to be removed before we tried to get pregnant. So ended up having an ectopic pregnancy because long story. Anyway, when I was on the Clomid is the story that I'm trying to get to. I was crossing the street, or beginning to cross the street in a very busy intersection in Cambridge. I had just come up from out of the train station, and in the train station there was a vendor who sold produce, and he had great big red delicious apples, and I would buy one periodically. I mean, they were huge. He charged $1.25 per apple, and that was probably, well, 35, 40 years ago, 35 years ago. We haven't been married 40 years. But yeah, anyway, I had just paid for this beautiful apple, and I came up out of the train station, took the escalator up, came out of the train station, was walking across, getting ready to cross JFK Street, and this person, motorcycle, see what I mean, was driving like that, drew Harvard Square, and I took that apple and heaved it at that car. Now, two things. I'm not a very good, I don't have a sense of aiming. Everybody knows I can't. Usually can't hit the broadside of a barn, but that apple smacked into the back windshield of that car. I mean, it smacked hard. And I cannot tell you, even to this day, I can remember the sense of satisfaction that I felt because people drive through there like crazy. But more than that, I also remember as I threw the apple, it was almost like things were happening in slow motion, and that I could see the apple coming out of my hand, and I was thinking to myself, but Linda, you just paid $1.25 for that apple. Okay, back to stitching. Sorry, I digressed. I might have mentioned I was going to do a piece for my older sister, and she and her family have an affinity for sea turtles. And she found a design. Again, it's an electronic design. I don't have the cover sheet, but it's called Watercolor Sea Turtle. And it is by a company called LaserArts, with an S, Designs. LaserArtsDesigns. This particular pattern is copyrighted of 2023. It's going to have 219 by 146 stitches. I'm doing it on a 14 count fabric called Calypso. And I have probably 4/5 of the first, is it the first page? No, I think it's in the middle. I started kind of in the middle, kind of. Make sure I'm showing it to you the right way. It goes this way. I almost showed it to you upside down. I picked it up once after I'd been working on it for a while, and I picked it up to start stitching again, and I was like, I can't find my place. Why? And then I realized I had it upside down. This is what I have stitched so far on a sea turtle. This is, I believe, going to be the edge of his shell. The outer edge of his shell. The colors are fabulous. Yeah, it's really good picture of the colors. Watercolor sea turtle. So I do want to get more stitches. I want to work consistently on him. I think it's a him. I don't know, but it feels to me like it's a him. And I do want to work on it, even though my main focus right now is patriotic. I don't want to put it down and then not get back to it for a long, long time, because I want it to be something that gets to her in a reasonably... I've told her in the past that I would do a project for her, not stitching, but quilting. And it got backburnered and it took forever and it wasn't good. It was very impolite of me. So I do want to keep up on this. Oh, look, this goes well with my shirt, kind of. Anyway, and these are the sea turtle's threads. So that's fun, and it's fun because it's so, confetti-y. I know I just made up that word. That it's fun to see something start to look like an actual picture. So that's Watercolor Sea Turtle. That was my new start since last we chatted. I have, oh, I told myself I was going to be under an hour, but I'm over, but I'm almost done. So if you have stuff you got to go do, I will hurry up and finish. Haul. I get from Fat Quarter Shop a monthly pattern from Stitching with the Housewives of the, what is this series called? I don't know, something houses. Blooming Roots. Doesn't have anything, I mean, it doesn't say houses at all. Blooming Roots. And this is the July one. It's Zinnia. If any of you follow them, you'll probably know that Chelsea's daughter is named Zinnia. Now, I actually bought the display piece from, I can't remember, I think it was Paisley and Polka Dots. And it's partially painted. And I've been working on this. This is, I think it started last fall. So this is like, does it say 8th in the series, I wonder? No. But it comes with the chart. And the chart has it stitched on 14 count. And if you stitch it on 14 count, it will fit on the front of this little house display thing. And then there's a piece for the street sign that comes in the chart. And you stitch that and then you mount them both. All right, this is when I discovered, I did the first one and I was kind of excited about it, and I got it mounted on sticky board. I know, I'm not crazy about sticky board with cross stitch either. And because it was 14 count and it was, you know, some of the thick, heavy stuff, I could not get the corners turned nice and sharply. It just drove me insane. So I haven't done another one. I've started stitching another one, but once I tried to fully finish it, I was not happy. So I don't know what's going to happen to all these patterns. I don't know what I'm going to do with them all. For now, I'm just stockpiling them. They might, you know, someday. This was the previous month's Petunia Place. You see the kind of thing they're going for? If I never get back to stitching them, it's kind of okay because they provide the threads as well, and they are classic Colorworks threads. And these are, I think these are the threads for, these are threads for Petunia's Place. I don't know. Seashellery. Let's see here. No, these are the ones for Zinnia. So if I never get around to stitching them, I've gotten a collection of classic Colorworks threads every month to add to my stash. However, every month they send you black coffee because every house has black in it somewhere. So I have a lot of skeins of black coffee. I probably won't need to buy anything like that for many, many moons. It's all good. Okay, so that was part of haul, in that the monthly subscription for that came. I also purchased Patriotic Tiny Town. Don't know if I'm going to do it on a strip or on a drum. Speaking of, I don't remember if it was Paisley and Polka Dots or if it was oh I'll think of it. When I think of it, I'll put it in the description box, because in the ensuing time period since my last video, I have figured out how to put stuff in the description box. So this video going forward, there will be information for you in the description box. Yay! It's almost like I'm becoming an official FlossTuber or something. So I will put that down in the description box. I don't know. They have, whoever it is, they have a little finished piece that has a space for tiny towns and then rooftops. And I really like it. It would mean doing it, the pieces on sticky board probably. Or maybe I could figure out something else. But I really, it's a cute thing. I like it. All right, so this patriotic tiny town. I also purchased Sewing Tomato by Erin Elizabeth. Just cause. I also purchased the electronic PDFs to use in GoodNotes of Primrose Cottage's new stitching themed designs. There's a piece that you can do the long way, or you can do it as individual pillows or whatever. And then I think there's a Quaker and there's something else. I bought all three and bought them as PDFs. It's the way to go, in my opinion. But, okay. Then I have also the, here are the other classic colorworks for the other month that came last time. See? Black coffee. Surprise! And I have subscriptions, again, from Fat Quarter Shop for Belle Soie. Look at them. Are they not fabulous colors? So this is pickle relish. I almost said pickle rehab. Oh my word. Pickle relish. And it's, Belle Soie is silk. And so I just pet it. It's so fabulous. Fufu Flamingo. And lemonade. There you can see the variegation on that one really well. Okay, so there's those. And then I also have a subscription through Fat Quarter Shop to NPI silks. And this month, the colors are 534, 571, 763, 254, and 403. And it's supposed to be, like a flower. And if I could hold them so that you could actually see them. There we go. Pretty. And again, silk. Fun to touch. I haven't ever used them. I have a whole collection now because I've been subscribing to that for probably at least a year. The Belle Soie just started. It's only been going for a couple of months, and my understanding is that the company is only going to run it for a year. But, there are lots and lots of colors of NPI, so who knows how long it'll go. But in the meantime, I have some. Another thing I wanted to share is actually not cross stitch, but a punch needle piece that I did. Sorry, I can't tell you the designer. I don't remember, but I have it on a shaker box. And I just recently found out that shaker boxes are numbered according to their size. And I looked when I found that out to see what size this is, and it doesn't say. But I bought this from a gentleman on Etsy, and I'm going to put his information below because it's fabulous. It's Ed Mattern, Mattern, like pattern, only with an M. And he is in New Hampshire, or as my husband calls it, New Hampster. Now, did I feel bad about attaching this to the lid of the shaker box? Kind of. Not so bad that I didn't do it, because I love this. One last thing, and then I have, oh, I should have said it at the beginning, just like I should have said at the beginning, thank you all for clicking like and subscribing and all those fabulous things. Again, I just had no idea that there was going to be the kind of response that there has been. Blew my mind, as we used to say back in the day. I have another Brenda Gervais pattern that I want to start. It'll probably be a fall start. A lot of people have been doing this one recently because Tara Sullivan of Sully Stitches, FlossTube, had this for her birthday start back in April. And it's called Daily Reminder, and it says be good and do good, which is such a fabulous philosophy and such a lovely chart. And I have all the flosses ready to rock and roll. But what I don't have the called for fabric, and I probably won't because I don't know if it's available in Ada. I'm not going to stitch it on a linen. So I've been looking at my possibilities, and I've got, this is called Sequoia, and it's by Atomic Ranch Fabrics. Which I really like it, but it might be too modeled for this particular piece because there's kind of a lot going on in this piece. And it's, yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I could go a different way and do a blue, which this piece of blue is fabric. The piece of blue fabric is gorgeous. And it is Blue Moon by Bestitch Me. Keep these in mind because I might be asking for your input if you want to give me your opinions. I looked at, I don't really want to do it on 20 count. I was looking for an 18, but look at these. This is Silver Fox by Fiber on a Whim. Much lighter than the one shown, but a gorgeous color. This is a good possibility. This is probably the one I'm leaning towards, even though it's a 20 count. And this is Fiber on a Whim's Malachite. That's also pretty modeled, but I love it so much. I love green. I love green. My husband is not a green person. I used to wear a lot of green, and every time I did, he'd kind of like, oh, malachite. And this one, not too sure about this one. This is Atomic Ranch, and it is called, what is this one called? My goodness, the name of it is not on here. Oh yes, it is, Nutmeg. Which, all of those threads would look great on it. So Nutmeg, Malachite, Silver Fox, and Blue Moon are my choices. So if you want to, give me your opinions, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And the very last thing, before I sign off, because this has gone on way too long, I have some giveaways. I should have said this at the beginning. 3 things. And so I'm going to, you know how giveaways work on FlossTube. If you don't, what we do is you have to be over 18, because I'm going to have to ask you for your mailing address if you are the winner. And I would like you to be a subscriber to the channel in order to be eligible to win one of these items. And in your comment, when you say which one of these items you're interested in trying to win, and don't say anything about win, I want a chance for this, I want nothing that would indicate that there's a prize or a gift or, giveaway, whatever, because that attracts the trolls that usually live under the bridge. And I'm going to number these. So there are 3 things. And number 1 is this chart. Because we've been talking about patriotic stitching. In God We Trust, really cute little chart. So if you're interested in perhaps winning this, in your comment, if you just include the number 1, and if that's all you want to include, that's fine. Just, put the number 1. Would love to hear from you, a little bit more than that, but number 1. Oh, and you can also try to win all 3 if you're interested in all 3. But this is number 1. And this is by a company called Textilly, Textilly, and it is pretty new. It is copyrighted this year. I think I got this at a retreat that I went to a couple months ago. In God We Trust. Number 1. Item number 2 is, and I'm sorry, it is in plastic. I don't want to take it out of the plastic. I don't want it to get dirty. Is some black Aida. This is 16 count, and it's a piece that is 10 and a half by 18. It's a decent sized piece. It's not modeled, it's just black. And if you have something coming up, a Halloween stitch or something that you need some black Ada for is number 2. Again, 16 count. And I want to show you this. This came from a store in Arizona called The West. And can you see their price on it? And I'll tell you another thing. I bought this because the project that my older sister had wanted me to stitch needed to be done on black. But when she changed her whole design concept and decided to go with the sea turtle instead, here's this piece of black. Sorry, I'm shining the wrapper. I'm trying not to move it a lot so it doesn't crinkle. Number 2, 16 count black Ada. And the third thing, I believe I also got this at that retreat. It's by Queenstown Sampling Designs, Red Peacock Folk Heart. Kind of cool, huh? So if you like pieces where you only use one color, and if you love red, it doesn't have to be red. It could be any color you want, because, you know, you're the boss. Red Peacock Folk Heart. This is number 3. So if you're interested in trying to win this, please include the number 3 in your comment. You can try for all 3. You can try for just a couple of them, whichever you want to do. But it is number 3 for this. I will use YouTube's random picker to do the winners. And so next video, which will be out before the end of June, I'll be announcing who the winners are. So I will probably, I probably won't do any, I won't do the picker until for at least 2 weeks. And today is Tuesday, the 27th of May, 27th, I think. Yeah, 27th. And so for at least 2 weeks from today, you have to think about which one you might like and include it in your comment. I really appreciate if you like and subscribe and share and all those good things. I think that you'll find that this will look a little bit different than last time, because I will have in the description box some of the things that I mentioned. I will have pictures of a couple of the projects that I couldn't show you pictures of because they are electronic or old or too big to hold. And I also will have a short list of some fabulous floss tubes you might want to take a gander at. Some of the people that I started watching right away when I found FlossTube. And each time I do a video, I will try to give you a different list of floss tubers, so that you can, if you haven't run across them on your own, so that you can see those. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me again, and I hope that you stay well. I do want you to know that in the coming weeks and months, I sat down not long ago and said, okay, so what am I going to talk about every time? And I have 10 different themes for videos that I've thought of so far. And I'll be sharing those as we go along. But in the meantime, you know, stay well, be well, take care of each other, and I hope you have very, very satisfying stitching. Thanks.